Pat, a sweet and sour Japanese Grand Prix. What is your evaluation after a few hours at the end of the race?
Well, it's always a time of mixed emotions. I mean, Felipe drove a fantastic race. You know, he was sort of being held up by Jensen. He, saved the tyres well. The only way really to pass, it's difficult to undercut when you're pitting into traffic, so you need to run later than them. So I mean, he did a great job of saving the tyres in the first stint, and then that just unlocked the race for him. And he drove, looking after the tyres. I think it was a close thing between, was it a 3-stop, was it a 2-stop? But the way he drove was fantastic, and brought back a good result. Obviously with Fernando, the complete opposite emotions, where it's never good seeing one of your cars go out at the first corner, is it?
Did you expect a better race pace compared to the performance in qualifying?
Yeah, I mean, I think our race pace was a little bit better. I mean, in qualifying, to some degree we were unfortunate with Fernando catching the yellow flag when Kimi spun, but that's all part of it. I mean, I think we lost half a second to 0.6 there. So performance-wise, I think we're back closer to McLaren. We've still obviously got a gap to Red Bull that we need to work on. But yeah, I mean, we just got to keep on driving and keep on developing the car.
Talking about the car development, Fernando said at the end of the race, at the end of his very short race, he was a bit upset because he said there's a lack of development. Was more a frustration after what happened at the start?
Well, I'm sure that sort of situation is always frustrating, isn't it? And it's quite clear that we still have a gap to Red Bull. I would, in qualifying it would have been 0.6 here, and obviously in the race we don't know exactly. But I'm sure, Vettel was driving, saving the rear tyres just as we were. I think looking back at recent races, I mean, we've been bringing constant, smaller updates all the way through. There are lots of small things that add up. I think we did make a few errors in Singapore, but we've understood those, realised that, and sorted that out for here. So I think, it's a constant drive for performance. You need to take some risks. I think we've understood that the problem we had. We're now moving forward again, and there'll be, there's another 4 small updates going to be on the car next weekend. And then we've got some slightly bigger updates coming through for the following race.
So now we are going to have 5 races, and we start more or less from scratch, considering the situation in the championship, with just 4 points of margin. How do you see the last part of the season?
It's we just need to keep our calm and keep on developing the car. We've got to make the right decisions, make the right developments, and try and make sure everything counts. There's still a lot more coming through. We've got a long way to catch up, but we're never going to give up. We're going to keep on trying right down to Brazil.
Coming to the next one, the first of the series, Korea. How do you think the car will perform in that circuit?
I suppose the tyres are soft and super soft there. We're normally reasonably, or we normally can find a car balance on that quite reasonably. So I think it should be a reasonably good race.
So we can expect a similar level of competitiveness that we've seen here. What do you think?
I would hope so. I mean, it all comes down to the development of the rate of the teams, and also how cars suit certain circuits. I mean, we've seen through the season cars, one race being very quick, one race being very slow, and no real pattern emerging. McLaren went through a strong patch, winning at 3 extremely different circuits, and then we're now a match with them here and obviously beat them today. Suzuka, I think, is a circuit that Red Bull always seem to go well at. It's just we've got to keep the development drive going right right to the end of the year.